Hi everyone. Before my family comes, I wanted to get on here and just give a few thoughts about what's going on in Ukraine. All of the world seems to have come together in their criticism about the genocide that's going on in Ukraine, and it is genocide. It's all out murder and just terrible sights. So everybody's together on this, apart from China, who opted out of saying anything really, and Kim Jong Un in North Korea, who's a nut job anyway. But it's unfortunate that these nut jobs have got access to such powerful weaponry, and like Putin now holding over us the fact that he could wipe out a little country like Norway, Finland, Denmark, UK, wipe them out with one of his weapons to teach the rest of the world a lesson that he will stop at nothing. But we have to stand up to him. I think a lot of it is bluffing, because he knows that if he does do that, if he does turn on a country that's part of the NATO, part of that alliance, then the rest of the world will come out in force in regards to Putin. I don't relish the prospect of him being antagonised or provoked, but, and it's a big but, can we allow one man, Putin's war, can we allow one man to destroy a country with impunity, with no redress, and not being accountable for it? Can we allow one man to do that? Can we allow one man to have control of the skies over Ukraine? Can we not have our planes up there to deter Putin's planes? And I'm talking about it as a deterrent. Of course, they would have guns on board and fire back. If fire was opened upon them, they'd have to fire back. But just to have planes up there to deter what's going on, at least to deter what's going on in the air. Should we not employ our Air Force? See, I'm in two minds about it. It's a very difficult decision to make. But Ukrainians they've got no defence in the air, none. And Putin won't stop until he gets what he wants. He might sit down, they might sit down for talks and talk all the way around it. But in the end, Putin will get what he wants, which is the demilitarisation of the Ukraine. And what else was it he wanted? I'm not sure whether he wants Ukraine or will allow Ukraine to remain a sovereign nation. You know, the fighting between Russia and the Ukraine goes back to the 9th century. Right the way back. And I know that 6 or 7 years ago, and I think it was in East Ukraine, where there was trouble, and because Russia were gonna indeed annex Crimea, and they had, at that time, they had a force of people, could say they drove ambulances really, or, you know, ambulance-like vehicles, whatever they could get. And this group was called the Black Tulip Group. And they would go out and they would collect the bodies. It went right back to the Second World War, I think they did, collecting the bodies. But during that 7 years ago conflict, they did the same. And they went out, imagine this, going out to collect bodies, and you'll pick a leg up here, an arm up somewhere else, a torso with no top and no bottom. Imagine that, men and women going out to do that. And it makes me wonder what's happening now, what's happening to those who have perished in Ukraine. What's happening to them? Are they just left on the ground? Are buildings searched after they've been bombed? Are they searched for possible survivors? We haven't heard, or at least I don't think we have. We haven't heard anything about that at all. Who goes to collect the dead and collect the maimed? You know, there could be somebody trapped with a leg under some concrete, unable to move, loads of blocks upon them. Who is able to go out and search for that person? Volodymyr Zelensky, it would be nice if he came on and he told us exactly what he was doing in that regard. Because the dead deserve a proper burial, and relatives need to know what happened to their loved one. So I think that's all I'm going to say for now. Apart from one thing, the conflict in the 9th century, and it was Russia and Ukraine. I've got it all written down. But the opposing generals, if you like, or as our presidents today, the opposing generals, one was called Volodymyr, like Zelensky, and one was called Vladimir, like Putin. What a coincidence. Or could it be a reincarnation? I'm not getting into that. Who knows? But it isn't funny, and I just hope that somebody's going to be accountable for collecting bodies and letting loved ones know what's happened. I hear that the ceasefire at the moment, it started at 9 o'clock local time, so they're 2 hours ahead of us. So it'll be 12:30 there now. Started at 9 o'clock. Think it's going on till 5 o'clock. And Russia has agreed no airstrikes so that these people, refugees, can come out the country before the bombardment starts again. What a species we are. We're the only species, I think, that kill each other for power, for fun, for money, certainly, for land. It's just awful. Anyway, I'll be back. Now, my next video, I've decided, is going to be about shoes. And I've got a lot of shoes in boxes from before I had my hip replacements and my vertebroplasty. And I haven't been able to wear these shoes. And I've got some, I was trying to think of the name of them, and they're called Irregular Choice. And they're quite weird. The ones I've bought are not the weirdest ones, but they've got some very, very weird shoes. And I'm going to do a video, show you my shoes, which have never been worn and which I want to wear again, and give you a bit of a laugh, really. And I'll leave a link for this Irregular Choice, the Irregular Choice shoes. And you can see, because they're really, really quite weird. So that'll be a fun video. I've used this morning some Tiger Balm on my back. It smells medicated. It doesn't smell nasty. It doesn't really smell. It's not as strong a smell as Vic. Anyway, I've put, you can see just a tiny bit. I've put some on my back this morning, and rubbed it in, and I think it's helped. So the more I can turn to alternative medicines and natural medication, this is Tiger Balm white ointment, the more I can turn to that and get rid of these darn things in the blister packs, and the morphine, which I'm keeping off, I'm really quite proud of myself. I'd rather suffer than get reliant on it all, and I'm determined to wear a new pair of shoes. They may be flat ones, but I'm going to wear a pair on Monday when we go out, and I'll be back to show you the Irregular Choice weirdo shoes and the other ones I've got. I'll speak to you later. Bye-bye.